Hey everyone, and welcome to Razor's Edge. This is Jim doing another episode of Dune Awakening. Yes, we are in the deep desert currently. So the map reset on Monday, Tuesday. I can't remember when the storm was, but there's public maps out there, which I'll show you here in a second. If you don't have them, there's a couple that I use. One is a player update. Basically, players log in and post their sightings of like anything from a small spice node, large titanium islands, which stay static. But strathium and titanium are basically what you're going to collect to make plastonium or whatever it is. I can't remember. Hold on. This stuff. Yeah, plastonian ingots. So we basically are only using the medium refineries. There is a large refinery. We just don't have it yet. Our focus and what we've been doing is supplementing off our neighbors. But yeah, the large is definitely more productive. But out here, and just a couple tips. I don't know if you knew this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the building a vehicle fabricator, the cost of building this is half. Everything in the desert is half. Now the parts for the vehicle, sadly, they're full price. So we're currently working on our carrier, building it out here, since the majority of the resources we need are here. And so far we have an engine and a generator. So work in progress. It's early. It's only, I think, what, today's Thursday. Hopefully by the end of the week we'll have our carrier. And then next comes the crawler. But I want to show you my neighbor's house. Oh yeah, we caught that little bastard that's been stirring up the worm. He's in prison. Yeah, you better hide. Anyway, so a real quick tour of where we set up, and everybody is strategically located here because there is a crater one grid that way in the PvE zone. I don't know. I need an ornithopter, but I'm lazy. I don't feel like climbing their building. So we made friends with another guild, which it pays not to just shoot everyone you see out here, because we've actually made friends with them, which is nice because they have a large refinery, a carrier, and a crawler. So we provide protection for them. In return, they refine our spice. So I don't know where their spice refinery is. I know it's a large. Kind of poking around in someone else's base. It's kind of rude. Oh, there it is. Ooh, it's big. And there's the large ore refinery. It's massive. And there's the large spice. So you get better ratios with the, but you need more volume in order to kick off I see they also build a vehicle fabricator out here too, the advanced. But it's kind of nice working with other, we're not in their guild. We just sort of allied with them and they made us associates. And there's a box over here we can drop off where we do our exchanges. And I could just drop off spice in large quantities and they'll refine it. So works out pretty nice until we get set up. But I'm gonna fly out and take a look at this crater. This is my pocket rocket. I basically keep this for the sole purpose. If I'm attacked, I just literally land, get this bad boy out, and usually I don't have a problem. It's not a guarantee. But I saw a couple explosions. The one I want to see the crater. You can see the crater there. There are 5 of them out here. I don't know what Funcom's doing this week, but none of them have spawned. And it's already Thursday. But there has been a plethora of mediums. So that's what I'm going to check. The other craters are up north. There's, I believe, 3 up there in the grid. And 1 to the left side of the grid. Or west. And this would be the 5th one right here. So I don't know what's going on, why these craters aren't spawning. I can tell that it's never spawned because even a crawler will leave a little bit of residue, and I have not seen a drop. Yeah, that's not respawn. But I want to go out here and check the medium that did pop. And we did build a little base up here next to where the titanium spawns are. And it turned out, as a bonus, there's always 2 to 3 mediums that spawn, which we just mine out by hand. Which is kind of nice. Even by hand with a medium, I can get about 5,000 times 2. So about 10,000 spice out of one of the mediums. It might not be perfect on the count, but you get the general idea. But I was out here mining this one. I don't see it. Okay, right there. So that's one of the new ones. So let's go ahead and mark that so I can come back. Not the log. And I'll come back out here with the assault and I'll mine that out on another, obviously not in the recording. There were a couple big eruptions, one of them up there. I don't believe any of the craters have spawned. Kind of disappointing. I'm sure it is for everyone that owns a crawler that these craters are not firing. So I know the map regenerates with locations, but I don't know if every server, their instance is the same. I'm gonna go flip this. This is the titanium I was talking about. We'll just go. Oh, come on. Gotta talk to the house. But yeah, really enjoying the deep desert. It's ooh, that I will go for. These have been buggy lately. I've been getting stuck in the mesh. We got to be careful, especially jumping up and down or using a booster. I do have the still boots, which are supposed to reduce my crawler noise or traction by 50%. I'm going to start with the small one first because that usually has the blueprints. I hope I remembered my cutting tool. Oh yeah, thank God. Thought I was in trouble there. So we'll grab that. I really don't know if it makes a difference as far as the oh, by the way, if you bailed out of your Ornithopter like I have by hitting E because it's so damn close to W for forward, I bound it to a mouse key that I'm not going to hit by accident because it's happened one too many times. You can see now, see how I'm glitched out on it? I don't know what's going on. The only way I've been able to... Oh, looks like another eruption. But that's not a crater location. I just land on top of these things. And then go about doing it that way. Again, I have to use the Ornithopter to not get stuck. Come on. Take your sweet time. Alright, and then I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that side panel. The little panel's the only one you really want. I'm going to call that a win. Yeah, that's not big enough to be a crater. There's a few plumes out there. Those are probably mediums. It's kind of hard to tell. But I will be coming back to get that one. And kick off another 10,000. Not a lot of PvP on our server, which is kind of nice. We have had a few engagements with some other guilds, but for the most part it's been pretty timid. But we have seen combat, which is, you know, if you're... I know the PvP is, since they've moved the grids out, for those players that do PvP, it's less than desirable for them. And I'm not going to apologize for Funcom, but this was advertised as a PvP game. Pretty sure. Alright, I'm going to fly back to the base, see if there's anything else I've left out as a tip. First thing, so I know as you get higher levels, the first thing I do when the map resets is I go to every single grid on the map and probe it. It's 100 experience. Plus it'll give you the location of all the facilities. Which is kind of nice to continue your level progress, because by now you've probably unlocked all the different skill classes and it's getting harder to level. Also doing the research facilities and the wrecks are also a good experience, but they are no joke hard. In my opinion, I think they're a little bit ridiculously hard. With two people, there's a lot of dying. And we're all tier 6'd out. Most of our gear is blueprints, and our weapons. It's just poison, flame, damage, stuns. It's a little ridiculous. But nevertheless, it's challenging, almost to the point of frustrating. for the PvP encounters, but there's the old saying, no risk, no reward. So I'll pause here, think of anything else I can share for new players coming out to the desert. Yeah. So just real quick, to give you an idea, these are all guilds. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guilds. All friends. There are other guilds on, you know, on other various islands pretty close to that crater because it's the closest one. But yeah, this is and all this will have to be broke down on Sunday because I don't have time on Monday to finish it. So we did the draconian theme. They did a combination, a hybrid of Arconian and no, or whatever the other house is. But yeah, that's the basis. I've seen some pretty nice ones. I've also seen little shoe boxes. To each his own. As long as it's functional, I guess. That's all that really matters. I'll put that away. Now I'll take another pause and see if I remember anything. Okay, so the second part of this video, I'm going to grab the assault and we're going to go out and hit the medium spice field that we saw from the scout. I'm going to go over some tips. One of the things that you should look for is a blueprint for these boots. They're called Tapper softset boots. There is another pair of boots. I don't remember the name of them. This is a blueprint that drops out here in one of the research facilities. But it does provide you, as you can see, a minus 45% worm threat and a dash stamina reduced cost. Not necessarily great for combat, but will provide you some added protection or detection from the worm. Now, I don't know how effective these are when you're out there with the compactor blasting at the ground. I haven't noticed a significant difference, but I have noticed that around ships and things like that, where I've not necessarily stirred up the worm like I used to. So I don't know the benefit of farming a field, what added benefit it gives you, or not. So, but I do recommend them. I know everybody out here does wear them. So as far as the compactor, obviously the MK6 is going to give you the best, but it does take a beating. I'm almost down to half durability. After only about maybe 6 or 7 medium spice fields, and it is rather expensive to repair. It does take spice, free spice. I mean, for me, it's not expensive, but again, for if you're just starting to collect spice, that you know, it can add up. It can add up. So we're gonna go towards our waypoint. Now we're defenseless, but we do have a spawnable scout with rockets. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, fly out here. One thing I will note, once you get out to wherever you're going, make sure you've identified a landmass for storm cover. There's several of these little islands out here that are large enough that you can duck under, at least with the assault. Crawler, you're kind of screwed no matter what. Or the carrier, but at least with the assault, have a plan. Obviously that's not going to protect you from any PvPers, but it will give you some protection from the weather, because storms are significantly more damage out here than they were in your private instance or in the Haga region. So I'm going to pause while we fly out here and then we'll start back up. Okay, so we're coming up on that identified patch that we found. And I found that there is a nice little ravine over there, which with ample warning I should be able to reach. And I've had a couple more explosions since I got out here, so it's gonna, I mean, as far as hand drilling goes, this is gonna be pretty good. This one's a really nice one. It's not on the, sometimes they'll spawn like on the side. Makes it rather difficult. And one thing I will say, you are in a PvP area. Look around once in a while. I don't know how many times I've rolled up on an assault vehicle and literally the person wouldn't respond to proximity chat. Because normally I'll use proximity so that I'm not giving away the location of where they're mining. But I've literally rolled up and I could have killed them easily. I just choose not to. But I always take a look around. I mean, when they're in glide mode, they're going to be completely silent, stealth. Now, I usually do what I know I can pick up. Also, it's good to know the radius of your compactor. You don't need to poke holes like this right next to each other. There's no point. They do have an AoE area of effect. You also want to make sure you're not harvesting. See, I can actually run without pissing off the worms, so that is kind of nice. Normally that would get their attention. I'll do some more experimenting with those boots as far as jumping up and down, things that I know would normally get the worms' attention. There's also an annoying little mouse that likes to burrow under the ground, and the noise and vibration that he makes in the ground tends to piss off the worm. So it's pretty early right now, so there's not a lot of activity on the server. So I'm not as concerned, but you just never know. Alright, so we've got the worm's attention now. We're going to go ahead and fly up. We'll wait for his signature to go away. And also any unwanted guests, which I don't think we're going to see any. I do load the booster rockets on the booster on the assault. It doesn't take up any other slots other than your available slots. So it's actually kind of handy. I can show you some glide techniques at the end of the video. Of using the booster to gain altitude, and then glide back down. It's really good for evasive maneuvers as well against rockets. There's the mouse I was talking about. You just tend to kill him before he gets a chance to burrow in the ground. I'm going to pause the video while I mine this out and we'll head back. I also just had it happen to me. I wish I would have caught it, but I did have a worm. No warning at all. And it actually came under me. I saw it coming. The way you can tell is your ship will start to shake. Don't panic, just run for the, go towards the ship and hit whatever your enter vehicle, you know, what it's M1 for me, or your E key. And I did fly out of it. So what would have been a death, was averted. Now I am full. I believe my ship is full. So we just wasted 4 piles. Not good. The other thing I'll say is when you're out here mining in the deep desert, you're going to want to bring a lot of water. At least two jugs. I'm really pissed that I wasted those 2. It will take 2 trips to clean this up. But here's what I was talking about, boosters, which are quite nice. You can get up to a nice 500 or 700 altitude. And it does give you a bit of maneuverability. You just need to make sure you watch your temps, because you will overheat your engine. I wish I would have caught that on video. That's only the second time that's happened to me, where the worm has actually hit me with no warning, no vibration on the sand. It started a couple patches ago. It's pretty scary. Not gonna lie, it's like the video, if you saw the video where I placed the extender module for the property in a area of the worm. He just comes flying out of the sand. As far as water, I use the Legionnaire MK6. It requires spice to make that. But that holds, I can get away with 1 canteen for a trip. If you're using something less, just take 2. There's nothing worse than dehydrating in the desert. Not fun. Same thing with fuel. At least make sure you have enough fuel. Because you never know if you're going to have to run off to hide from a storm. Somebody's going to engage you. There are things that I'm sure all of you have at one point or another in one of your vehicles discovered you had no fuel can. Not a good feeling. So that's 1 trip, 5, 6, almost 6,000 in the assault from the medium, and we at least have 1 more trip out there before we clean that up. And I've seen at least 3 or 4 more explosions in that area, eruptions. So we'll do it by hand until they get on with the crawler tonight. We'll give them aerial cover, and then they usually just fill us up with plates. So yeah, that's the best knowledge I have as far as solo mining the deep desert for your first experience. Hopefully you found it helpful, and hit the like if you like the video. It helps others find the same information that brought you here. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.